The TrekWorks YouTube channel is sponsored by Tenacontrols, makers of lighting kits, soundboards, and more. Tenacontrols brings your models to life. And by S.H.A.D.O Model Works, suppliers of scale model lighting products, detail parts, and complete model kits. Visit HDAModelWorks.com today. Hello again, everybody. Boyd back with you again, and welcome back to the TrekWorks channel. Well, we're here today to wrap up the final video for our S.H.A.D.O mobile. The last video we left off showing you where we had gotten the entire body painted and everything done as far as the external detail work. And I told you guys I'd come back later here and show you the final step we were going to do, and this was going to be installing our main control board that we got in from Tenacontrols. I want to thank Ralph again there for setting this up for us. You can see this is the board here itself. This is his remote control board, which comes with this little key fob that I've used several times here and showed you guys on different models that I've worked with. So we've got this set up to where it'll produce remote control effects to turn on and off all of our lighting, and also activate some sound and lighting effects for our weapons. We have the cannon gun on the top and the mortar launcher at the back. We've got the headlights, and we've also got a diesel engine sound that we put in. You can see I mounted the speaker and everything in there. I showed you on the last video how we had this all kind of mocked up in there, but now I've got all the wiring all connected up together, and just wanted to show you how this was all laid out on the inside. Got our little soundboard here, which is one of the soundboards that I use from Big Dogs. You can find those online at www.bigdogs.com. I'll put that up here on the screen for you. Nice little board because you can get up to 320 seconds of sounds. You can have one long sound, or you can separate 5 individual sounds with 5 individual activating buttons. And as long as you don't have the entire thing totaling more than 320 seconds, it makes a difference on how you set the sampling rate and all that. When you get one of the boards, it comes with a link to download the software so you can run it on Windows. Be aware that it won't run on anything above Windows 7, though. It won't run on Windows 10. I think they're working on updating that, but you get the software and everything, and it shows you how to install the sounds and set them up, and how to set up the buttons and everything. But so I've got this set up with a diesel engine sound, the mortar firing sound, and the sound of the cannon fire. So the reason that we had to go with a separate board, and Ralph had to do some work on this, was that if you set this up, you can wire an LED directly up to the speaker output here, so that anytime a sound effect happens, the LED will light at the same time. But unfortunately, it's not a smart board. In other words, it doesn't know how to separate the sound. So anytime a sound comes out, that LED is going to light. So the problem being that, like, for example, if we have the cannon firing and we have that particular sound, the any other LEDs that are hooked up to that are going to also light at the same time. So we would have the cannon firing, and we would have the mortar would actually be lighting at the same time. So Ralph had to do a little bit of his electronics genius work here, using this board and tying it into the soundboard so that we could separate that. In other words, so now when we have the sound of the cannon firing, only the LED for the cannon lights up and not the mortar at the same time. And same thing when you run the diesel sound effect, the LEDs don't light for the cannon and the mortar. So, but if you're just doing a simple sound effect and you want an LED light with it, you can just hook up an LED directly, run 2 wires off of this where the speaker output is, the wires that go to the speaker, and the LED will light. Now, I found that you don't need to use resistors whenever you do that. If you use a resistor in line with the LED, it won't light, or it either won't light or it'll light really, really dim. So the amperage is correct coming out of this thing. Now I've hooked up as many as 15 LEDs to this output, and they all light really bright. I did something similar to that, if you guys remember when I built the small Eagle back a while ago, and I had the engine light up effects with the sound effects on that. Now there is a small little workaround if you do want to set it up this way. You can simply put in a switch in between the board, the soundboard and the speaker, and just a simple on and off switch, so that, in other words, like say you want to play a sound but you don't want any lights coming on with that, so you just turn the switch off to the LEDs, and the sound will still come through, but the LED will not light. That's how I set these up on my TOS Enterprise that I'm building for my clients when they want the different sound effects. We have the lights come from the same source, so we have the weapon effect there on the bottom of the saucer, for example, where you have the photon and phaser effect, lighting up. I just light up that lower dome, and so the light source is coming from the same place. So I also have the opening dialogue and everything that I put on the board. So when I'm playing the opening dialogue and the theme music, I have that switch turned off so that only the sound comes through. Then when I switch over and I want to fire my phasers, I push that button, and then the sound effect comes on, and the lights also come on. It's that simple, guys. If you guys ever have any questions about any of this stuff, you can always drop a line or send me an email, and I'll gladly help you out with that, because I think these are really great little soundboards. They're not very expensive, and they sound really nice and clear. And again, you get almost 3.5 minutes of total sound, which is in most cases is more than enough. And you can substitute a different speaker. This is not the speaker it came with. This speaker is a little bit bigger, but the speakers that they come with are not bad at all. Especially you notice when you first set it up on your bench and you play it, it doesn't sound very good. But once you get that speaker inside some kind of an enclosure, whether you mount it in the bottom of a base or even inside the model itself, it will sound a lot better. So, but these are capable of putting out a lot of sound. Now, granted, it's not stereo, it's not hi-fi, but I've hooked this up to an actual, like a speaker for a boom box, pretty good-sized speaker, and it gets really loud, and it's really, really clear too. So there's plenty of power there coming off of that soundboard to give you all the sound you'd really ever need. So just keep that in mind, guys. But anyway, so that's how it looks, guys. I've got the battery in here. I showed you before where I can turn my power off and on back here at the back with the battery switch. We got that little LED back there. So now the difference is that once I turn this on, all my lights and everything on the vehicle don't come on anymore. They won't come on until I actually use the remote control now. I just have to remember to turn this battery off and on whenever I'm using it. So, a little bit different than the demo video I showed you when I just lit the basic headlights and taillights on this in the last video. So anyway, I'm going to take this over now. I'm going to close this thing back up, and then I'm going to show you a demo of this all working and set up, and it'll be our final reveal of the model when we're done. So I'll be right back, everybody. Back with you again, everyone, for a final look at the model and how the lighting and sound effects work on this. So we start off here where we can use our remote control, and we're going to start this thing first with the diesel sound, and then we can turn on the headlights, and that diesel sound will run for a little while, but we can interrupt that when we want to fire the weapon. So we're going to fire the cannon up on top first. Alright, there's our cannon, and then at the rear there we have our motor launcher. Okay, so you can see all the lighting effects are synced up with the sounds now. We also have the little tail light here at the rear that comes on that I showed you guys before. But so that's how everything looks on this one, everybody. One of these days I'm going to take this thing outside and get it in a nice wooded background and take some nice pictures of this. That'll look pretty cool. Try to find a spot that looks like it did on the original TV show, kind of in the woods or something with all the lights on and everything. That'll look pretty neat. So Alright guys, well I hope you enjoyed this video build series on the S.H.A.D.O. And it turned out really nice. Want to thank Ian over at Kits for Cash for sending me this and the UFO alien ship. Just really high quality kits, and I'm just really happy to have these. Wanted these since I was a kid. So we'll catch up with you guys on the next video. We're going to be continuing on working on the Star Destroyer and of course the big Enterprise. So I'll have regular update coming for you in just a couple days on the Star Destroyer. Making really good progress. We're going to show you the green strawberry lighting kit for that. And so that's a wrap for this one, everybody. Take care, and we'll see you next time. Happy modeling, everyone.